RLCS 2026 is just around the corner, honestly. So I'm going to break down all the new news that we know for RLCS 2026. Bigger, better, badder in terms of coolness, not worseness. Let's just get to it. This is why I don't do the promos. But anyway, here, let's do it. Hop on over. First, we'll start with the graphic, and we'll work our way there. First off, before even the graphic, 2/3 rule. Let's give it up. Let's give it up. We're doing 2/3 residency rule. I don't know exactly how that works. There's probably a lot of small details about that. And honestly, I don't know all of them. But basically, if you're a resident of the place that you come from, 2/3 has to be, you would have to play in your own region, which basically eliminates, likely, again, not sure, teams like Virtus Pro, teams like Foot, from going internationally just to play in RLCS, unless they wind up living there for a year or so. I don't know. But still, it should narrow that down a bit, and we should get more of national players representing their regions, which should be pretty awesome at Majors and at the World Championship. Next up, we start November 14th. It's just 2 months away already, not even, which is absolutely crazy. So teams have to do roster moves very, very quickly. So this is how we used to start. And then we decided to take the whole fall off, and now it's back, right? So, going to be really cool. Very excited about that to get right back into it. But the main notes for that is it looks like it's just Open 1. Will be in this year even. Because of the Kickoff LAN December 5th through 7th, which is going to be huge, which we'll talk into detail in just a little bit. But then after that, there's also the FIFA World Cup, I believe is the next weekend. So very likely then it's a holiday break, right? So we'll probably only get one open for each region in the first calendar year in 2025. And then it'll be kind of back to normal going into the next year, with just the majors moved up about a month. So we'll talk about that really quick. Major 1, North America. It is not announced yet where it is, but it will be in North America, at least according to this. Late February, so about a month earlier than normal. Normally it's late March, maybe early April, I think, is what the timeline was this year. So we'll see how that all plays out. Obviously, that'll be pretty normal. The one thing to note here is there's no 1v1s, at least on this graphic, before the major. So very likely 1v1s is not even at the major. 2v2s is also a new mode that is coming out, which is awesome, as you can see on the side here. If my mouse shows up, I don't think it is. There we go. So 2v2s are happening. I would assume, again, we're not really sure, probably the same exact thing with 1v1 and 2v2s, where it's like you play the one tournament. Actually, it might be listed below, but you play the one tournament, you represent your region, and then you go to the World Championship, which looks like both of these 1v1 and 2s will not be at either major, and then we will just play, I would assume, the Final Four at the Rocket League World Championship in September-ish, it looks like. Maybe late August, based on this line, but they haven't really said. So that's still happening. LCQs are still around, which I think they were a great success this season. It just added a little bit of hype during the downtime, which the downtime is even longer now because of our LAN at late May. So, yeah. Going to be a lot more downtime between May compared to last year. We did it, I think, early July or late June. I can't remember the exact date. I think it was late June. So it's about a month longer of that break, and then the World Championship, which I could see arguments of like, well, it's way too long of a break. At least we have the 1v1s and the 2v2s in between. The one nice thing is last time it was in the middle of a season, and so a lot of the top players just did not want to do ones because they were focusing so much on threes. Well, all the top teams that have already qualified for the World Championship in their regions now have a long break, and they can actually put a lot of effort into the ones and twos. So we should get even more competitive ones and twos, hopefully, for that off season, which should be really, really, really fun. So I'm excited about that. I hope a lot of these top players actually participate. We had a lot of top players participate in ones, and ones is a whole different breed. I feel like in twos, we'll see a lot more. But a lot of these teams that have already qualified for the World Championship are not going to have a lot to do in that 3-month span that we have before the World Championship. So why not, play some ones and twos events? So that should be really cool. Obviously, other teams have to worry about the LCQs, but still, hopefully they participate as well. But at least we'll get the top of the top, the cream of the crop. So, Major 2, late May, they did announce shortly after this graphic came out that it will be in Paris. Announce it in front of the French crowd. They went absolutely nuts. It was very nice that we at least gave them one more thing to really cheer for after K-Corp got knocked out. That event's going to be absolutely huge. It looks like the arena can hold anywhere from like 25,000 to 35,000, depending on how you arrange it. So we'll see where we land, but it will be our biggest event in Rocket League esports history by far. We don't know where the World Championship is yet, so we'll see how that all pans out. But up until that point, at the very least, it'll be our biggest event ever. Last time, the French, it sold out in like a week. I heard reports like on the day it sold out, but then I think a couple more tickets got released later on or whatever. So we expect that to do very, very well, and we expect a lot of fans there. It's going to be a ton of fun. And even if you're anywhere nearby, it's definitely an event to go to based on this World Championship was truly special. So definitely check that out. But yes, then we got the 1s and 2s. We got all the modes. Maybe next year we'll add 4s because now we're getting 4s in ranked. So we'll see how that all pans out. But I have to sneeze, and it might come out in the middle of this. I'm just letting you know. 1s and 2s are going to be a lot of fun. We already talked about it. Kickoff LAN. I really want to talk about this. The sneeze is coming. All right, we're good. We got it out. All right. The Kickoff Studio LAN is very interesting because obviously it looks like it's basically the same format, right? Major 1, Major 2, probably RLCS points, yada, yada. You make it to the Rocket League World Championship. They haven't said regional spots yet. I want to make note of that, so we don't know exactly how many regional spots are going around. We do know that one regional spot for each major and the World Championship will be decided in the Studio LAN, in the Kickoff LAN that we have December 5th through 7th. So that will get us, and let's look at the notes here. This is the most important part, and the thing I have the most opinions on as well. So 2026's RLCS season will get underway earlier than usual. Online opens. Now, that's a key word, earlier than usual. Does that mean that this is a one-off? Who knows? Online opens will begin in November 2025, leading to a brand new 3-day studio event at the Blast Studios in Copenhagen, Denmark, from November 5th through December 7th to kickstart the 2026 RLCS season. The top 6 teams from North America and Europe competing in Open 1 will qualify for an offline playoff stage in a closed studio. That's the big thing. And this is the first thing that I have opinions on. So normally when we do our shows, like if we keep the same format, who knows that they haven't said. It looks likely because it's going to be top 6 teams, and if you have a normal quarterfinals, you have top 8 teams, so it doesn't really make sense. Top 6 teams means it's the final day of competition. Normally when we do an online open, we do Saturday is 2 upper bracket matches, 2 lower bracket matches of the top 8. 2 teams get eliminated. The rest move on to championship Sunday. That's what we saw just now at the World Championship as well, with the AFL type playoff structure. Very likely, that's what we're doing here. That's what it seems like. But all 6 teams are going from North America and Europe. One, that is 2 more than usual at LANs nowadays for both those regions, which is exciting for those regions. My one issue is it's not very exciting for any other region, right? Because none of the other regions get a chance to go. I think what I would have loved to see happen is we get down 6 to 4, at least get your top 4 from NA in Europe, and at the very least, bare minimum, get the grand finals for Mina and Sam also on that LAN and have them participate. One, because their finals could also be on LAN, which would be awesome for their first open. But then also have them compete for that extra spot. Because, like, for a team like Falcons, where it's like they can easily be the best team next year, right? And, like, they could have earned an extra spot for Mina. Like, I get it, North America and Europe in terms of viewership and all that stuff for us. It's definitely the 2 biggest, but I still would have liked to see Mina or Sam, at the very least, bare minimum, have a chance for it. I don't mind too much that if like an OC, an SSA, or an APAC is not there, that's okay. But bare minimum, I would have loved to see for North America, for Europe, and then 2 MENA, 2 SAM. Because also those grand finals days would be awesome, right? We get even more action there. You could do like the North American Open on a Friday where there's 3 matches. It leads to their grand finals. Then you do the grand finals of MENA, and then maybe on Saturday you do the SAM grand finals after Europe, right? And then on Sunday you battle for the major spot. So let's talk about that. So that's the first thing I would have liked to see changed. I don't think we really need 6 teams there. And also only limited to 2 regions, I feel like is not needed. Especially, hey, Europe's the 3rd best region now. They weren't even in the grand finals. So, why we bring them out? But on the final day, the top 2 teams from each region will advance into a 4-team bracket where they'll compete for a coveted 2026 regional slot. The winner not only secures direct qualification for Major 1, but also earns their region an additional 5th slot at RL Worlds 2026. I think in a last edit, they also had that at Major 2 as well. I would assume it's for Major 2, but it might not be. Let's talk about this. 2 things I don't like about this. One, this is a very important open all of a sudden, which is fine because you're making it a LAN. But to have like whoever wins this in that first, like everyone's trying to fill out their rosters, earn spots across the entire year is pretty crazy. I think I would have preferred if it was like, all right, you secured like an extra spot for your region at Major 1. Then like whoever wins Major 1, that region secures the extra spot at Major 2. And then for Worlds, maybe you do it by best average points. They secure the extra spot there. So not only do they get an LCQ, they also get 1 extra team there. That's probably how I would have done it. So it's not too much invested all in this one thing, but it still has a ton of importance. So that's probably what I would have done, but hey, that's fine if they want to make it even more important. The only thing I also don't like is a 4-team bracket when you just saw who was the best in North America, who was the best in Europe at this Open. It's going to be weird where it's like, all right, say it's Energy, they get upset in the finals by Ultimates or something, right? And then you go to this bracket and Ultimates win the entire thing. Now, Ultimates has less points. They've already qualified for their regional spot. And, I think I would have much preferred if it was just one match, right? Just one, here we go. Winner of NA Open versus winner of EU Open. Let's decide the spot. Now, if there was the MENA and SAM teams, then a top 4 would have been perfect, right? Then you could have that perfect bracket. Because also right now, it could also be, not interested at all if it's NA versus Europe and NA versus Europe in your top 4, and the 2 European teams win, or the 2 NA teams win. Now they're really not playing for anything. They already earned the regional spot. Yes, they technically auto-qualify for Major 1 if they win that tournament, but very, very likely both those teams are going anyway. So it's especially with the extra spot, it would be incredibly difficult for either of those teams to not make it to that major. So then you're really not playing for anything. So really, semifinal 2 could be the most important match in that bracket because, you'll know semifinal 1 winner of NA or Europe, and then semifinal 2, if that same region wins, then they get the spot, and then the finals really don't matter, and they could just have fun with it. Very likely, there'll probably be some extra prize money or something on the line, so they'll want to play it out. But it's in the importance, it's really not going to matter all that much. While if it was MENA and SAM, every single match matters, and anyone could possibly win it, and I think that would have made it a little bit more interesting. Now, with this extra spot, that also means one spot is going away. They have not said who is losing a spot, so we'll keep that in mind as we go forward. 2026 majors. Season will follow the same thing, 2 splits, each featuring 3 online opens, leading to a major tournament. Both majors will pave way towards bigger stage mall, the Rocket League World Championship. Major 1, North America. New details in the coming weeks, it says, so we should know very soon. Major 2, it will be in France, in Paris, and it is an extra day, it looks like, for the major. I don't know if that's going to be for all majors, but at least in France, it'll be an extra day with 3 crowd days. So that's going to be a lot of fun, too. We talked about that earlier. It's going to be a big event. It'll be our biggest event ever, at the time. So we'll see how that all goes. And then share more details, including dates and the host city for the World Championship in the coming months. So keep that in mind, months. So that sounds like to me you would announce that at the December LAN if everything's locked up, right? That seems like a perfect spot to announce where the World Championship will be. But we'll see. They might wait till next year as well. The 2026 format will be the same, 3v3s, yada, 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 for standard 3-player rosters. 2 players must meet regional eligibility requirements through the citizenship or permanent legal residency. I don't know what permanent means, so we'll see how that plays out. But basically, yeah, 2/3 roster moves. We talked about this earlier, so it'll be more regional based, so we'll see how that all pans out. So the first open of the season, usually these mean they're 2 weeks long, right, as well. So NA will start on November 14th. Europe will also start November 14th. What that means to me, and again, I don't have these details yet, is the following week, because we only have to play the Saturday matches, in terms of like our 2 normal online tournament open days, they will play, I would assume, NA on Saturday, your top 8, and then your EU on Sunday, top 8, until we get down to our top 6s, so then we'll know who goes to the LAN. That would be my guess. But again, who knows? The rest of the regions, they begin a little bit later. Sam and APAC, MENA, OC, and SSA. And honestly, I would not think in the future NA in Europe for Open 2 and Open 3 will be on the same weekend. I would assume very likely not, just for this first one because of the LAN. So season starts then. The kickoff LAN is December 5th through the 7th. Split 1 runs to February 2026. Exact dates to be announced. Major 1, February. It said late February, I think, earlier. So keep that in mind. And then, which makes sense. And then Split 2, March through May. Major 2 is in May, late May as well, which they had the dates earlier. Yeah, May 20th through 24th. And then we have 1v1 and 2v2 opens in June and July. Again, so teams, that's their break time, basically, right? Before the World Championship, they have a lot of time to kill. We would assume there's another EWC in August, right? So they'll be warming up towards the end of July for that, but they'll have a little bit of time to actually participate in these events, which is very, very cool. Regional last chance qualifiers will be July through August. Exact dates to be announced. Last time, again, based on EWC, they tried to avoid that. They tried to get it all done earlier, but we'll see how that all pans out. And then the Rocket League World Championship. It does say here September 2026. It didn't say that on the graph earlier, but it does say September. Usually it's early September, so like we just did now. So we'll see how that all pans out. But yeah, 1s and 2s will be there. Road to Worlds. The 16 teams with the most RLCS points will automatically qualify for the Rocket League World Championship. So again, I just want to make note of this. It's the same World Championship format. 4 more teams will join via the last chance qualifiers based on the 4 best performing regions across the season. So very likely the World Championship is not going to change at all. So if you thought, oh, maybe they're adding more spots to majors and World Championship, it does not look like that's the case. So it does look like because 1 spot is going to this LAN, 1 spot will be removed from another region. So we'll see how that all pans out once we know more details. But yeah, that'll do it. RLCS 2026. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, I have some small qualms about the Studio LAN event, but I think all in all, it's going to be a fun time, and it's going to be pretty cool. I really hope, because I assume what we'll do is one day will be the NA Open, one day will be the European Open. When the Europeans are not playing, like if I'm there, which I don't know if I'm going to be there, we need to like run the Europeans through like some type of gauntlet, like games, like sport games or something, like contests, and have some fun with them while the NA Open is going on. Would be awesome. If like every break, like, all right, let's bring out some new people. We're going to do, some type of challenge, right? And it would only be Europeans because they're not participating. Or they could even be on the cast or the desk or something like that because they're not participating that day. They will want to practice, so it's like we can't keep them for too long. But that would be really fun. And then the opposite, when North America is done, on the Saturday, like if that's the case, then while Europe's playing, we get NA people on talking about whatever, or we're putting them through random games to play in between matches. Would be a ton of fun. Again, this is pie in the sky type stuff. There's going to be a lot of moving parts, and probably we'll see how it all pans out. But that would be a lot of fun there as well. And it's just going to be great international experience for all these brand new teams as well to get these scrims in and stuff. So they're also going to be wanting to do that as well. And then that final day, the top 4 teams battling for a regional slot will be a lot of fun. I really hope it's an international final, so it actually makes that final actually matter. But either way, it's still going to be very important and a good time to watch. And that is the most important thing. Entertainment, you know. But that'll do it for me here. RLCS 2026 is going to be a good time. We're starting in less than 2 months already. So I need to get a contract. No, but we'll see how it all pans out. But thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.